Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to repair a crack in your kayak. So this one is a crack on my Hobie Oasis on the rear seat. The seat normally rests right here, and a lot of people get cracks right here. But you can use this for repairs in other parts of any kayak. So today I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix this. Now, if you find a crack and you're worried about that crack expanding, one of the things that you can do if you don't have time to repair it right away is to drill holes on either end of the crack to stop it from spreading. So I'll go ahead and show you how I would do that. And this crack's actually spread all the way to here. And that will stop your crack from spreading in the meantime. Let's say you're on a road trip or you just want to live with a temporary tape patch. This one, you can actually see the residue from the tape. I was on a multi-day kayak fishing adventure on Vancouver Island, and I didn't have any way to repair it, so I just put some tape over it, which is now something I've got to clean up. But you know, if you're going to have to use tape for a temporary fix in the meantime, make sure you drill out your crack so that it doesn't keep expanding. Okay, so let's go over the tools you're going to need to make your repair today. So the first tool you'll need is a plastic welder. This is the Hobie plastic welder, and I'll put links to all these on Amazon. So it comes with the welder that just plugs into the wall. It also comes with a variety of welding rods in different colors. So here's the red one I'm going to be using to match to my kayak today, but there's a bunch of different colors in here that'll match to a lot of different kayak manufacturers. It also comes with some reinforcing mesh that I'm going to be using today as well. And then some other things you're going to need is something to cut the mesh, so I'm just using some tin snips. You're also going to need a flathead screwdriver or something to push down the mesh into the plastic as you melt it. Then you're going to need a medium and fine grit sandpaper. I've got 100 and 220 right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my medium grit sandpaper and try and clean up some of this tape residue that I wasn't able to wash off with soap and water. Alright, I'm going to use a little bit of alcohol just to clean away all that dust. I don't have to be perfect here, but I want to get it at least fairly clean so I'm not getting a whole bunch of tape residue inside the weld. Now if you can do it from both sides, that's great, but this one's so far up inside the kayak I can't weld on the inside, so I'm only going to be welding from the outside. If you can do welding on both sides, you're going to get a much stronger weld. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut off a chunk of the welding rod that I'm going to need today. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut away some of this mesh that I'm going to form around. You want about a 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch at least on both sides of the crack. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this using the, I'm going to go ahead and cut this mesh using the tin snips. Okay, now that I have my mesh here, I'm going to go and just kind of form it to the shape I'm going to need it. So I'm going to be pressing this into the plastic, so I don't want to be messing with this after I get everything heated up and melted. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to plug in my welder. Okay, now using my welder that's all heated up, I'm going to start from one end. I'm going to kind of make a valley in the plastic just by pushing along a crack. I'm going to work in 1 to 2 inch segments so I don't rush things. And then I'm going to fold the plastic back in over, as it melts, I'm going to kind of fold it back in over the top of that crack. Okay, then I'm going to put one of the welding rods down through the welder and let it start to melt. There we go. I'll start smearing that back over the top of the area that was damaged. It takes a little while just to get used to it, but you can work that melted plastic back over the top of it until it's smooth. The good thing about HDPE is that you can melt it and remelt it, and it still has the same strength as before. Alright, so we're going to start feeding some extra material in here on the welder. There we go. Nice. Forces it into that crack. Now the next thing is we're going to try and melt this mesh into the plastic, and that's where you need your flathead screwdriver. So we're going to press on top. We're going to start pushing this into the plastic. Slowly just working it down into that plastic. We got a fair amount of the material of the reinforcement mesh embedded in the plastic. Now I'm going to lay over the top of that with some more welding rod. I'm going to smooth out some of that area, cover up as much of that mesh, try and keep as clean a look as possible. Okay, I think she's all welded in there pretty good. I just got a little patch over here I got to work on. Now if you want to, you can just leave it as a unfinished weld like that. But if you want to smooth it out, you can. This one's going to be really hard because of the location. There's lots of crooks and crannies in here. But I'm going to smooth it out just a little bit, just to take off the rough. So I'll use a 100 grit sandpaper to start with, and I can finish with a 220. Now I don't have to worry about the cosmetic side here so much since this is underneath my seat. But if you're in an area and you sanded it and it gets kind of this ghosted, pale appearance on the plastic and you want to get rid of that, you can either do two things. You can hit it with a heat gun for a moment, or just lightly brush it with a torch, and that will take that out of there. And there you go. I have my weld all complete. This thing's going to hold up extremely well now that I got that reinforced mesh in there. It ain't exactly pretty. This is a tough area to weld with lots of angles and stuff. But then again, kayaks don't tend to break in convenient places. I hope this video helped you understand a little bit on how to plastic weld and use that reinforcing mesh. I'll put links to all the products that I use in this video below. I'll see you guys next time, and just remember, fish smarter, not harder. Bye.